As promised, here's our Director of Scouting, Craig Button, to talk about the playoff-bound Montreal Canadiens. You know, Craig, going into the season, team owner Jeff Molson said they wanted to be in the mix. They wanted to be in the mix. They did one better. They're in the postseason. Are you surprised that this version of the Montreal Canadiens has made it to the postseason?
Yes, I am. And, you know, they were a bottom 8 team for the last few years. And what they need to do is get into that next 8 and try to get closer to the top 16. And they did much better than that. And they had their ups, they had their downs over the course of the season. And even leading into this game, you know, hey, you got control right there in your hands. Now take advantage of that. And they did. But when you think about the magic that sometimes comes from the Montreal Canadiens over the years.
Sure, yeah.
You know, we hear so much about, they had magic, they really did. And certainly you have to admire that during the times over the course of this year when things were gloomy, shall we say, and you can't tell me they weren't gloomy over the last few days, 8-point lead just mere days ago, and now you're trying to get in there, and there it is in the mix in the playoffs. And I think it really is a testament to the players, to the coaches, saying, okay, we got to find solutions when we're stumbling. And they had their stumbles, but they found a way to get over those humps and those bumps on the road, and they find themselves in the playoffs. I think it's fantastic what they've been able to do. I think it would have been fantastic just getting into that next 8.
Yeah.
Now you got playoff time in Montreal, and there's no better place to be, Jay.
It's going to be an incredible atmosphere. It's great for the players. We've seen so many positive things for the Habs this season. Lane Hudson, Demidov shows up. I kind of feel like the Nick Suzuki emergence, not just as, you know, a real leader of this team, but a true number 1 center, has sort of gone a little more under the radar, perhaps. How impressed have you been with his leadership? As you said, he had to kind of, you know, they blew that lead. Last couple of days, Suzuki's kind of quiet leadership has been so important.
That's what he is, though. You know, be true to yourself, be authentic, right? That's all you got to do is just be exact. I've watched Nick Suzuki play since he was 16 years of age. He was MVP in the OHL playoffs when they won a championship. So this is nothing that's foreign to Nick Suzuki. In the 2021 playoffs, he was outstanding. I mean, that's 4 seasons ago, and he's only that much better. Jay, he's an elite number 1 center. And yeah, he doesn't have the flash of some of the other players, McKinnon, McDavid, and that's not the type of player he is. But when you think about Patrice Bergeron, you think about the importance that he had for his team in every single facet of the game, that's Nick Suzuki.
I like that comparison.
And Marty Biron, I don't know what we should call him, Nostradamus or something like that. He said that Nick Suzuki had to be the guy in this game here, and Nick Suzuki was the guy. Because Nick is not a shrinking violet. He's never been a shrinking violet. Those types of challenges are ones that he relishes. And you certainly saw that in this all-important win for the Montreal Canadiens.
And now, Craig, we get Montreal and Washington. And I know everybody's focusing on the OV versus Demidov angle, but that's a pretty minor angle in the grand scheme of things. How do you actually think that the Habs match up against the Caps?
Well, I mean, you got a top team in the league in the Washington Capitals. But, Jay, it feels like you're trying to trick me. You're trying to trick me into saying something that I said in 2021 when the Habs were getting ready to play the Leafs. And I said they'll be lucky to win a game. In fact, the series might end in 3 games. That's how good Toronto was.
I think a few people remember that.
I remember it. They haven't let me forget it. So I know that. I remember it. And certainly I'm not going down that path saying they're not going to win a game or 2. Listen, I have to eat crow. Our dear friend Darren Detition, he told me a really good Merlot to have with crow. So if you ever have to eat crow, I'll tell you a good Merlot. But at the end of it, they have magic, and they have a goaltending that's been really good. They found a way to win some games. So I think they can win a game or 2 here in this series.
Sure.
I don't think they have enough to beat a really talented Washington Capitals team, a big, strong Capitals team, and one that's got a lot of depth. And they're good defensively, they're good offensively. But I don't think this is a reason to doubt the Montreal Canadiens right now.
No.
Because, as Jeff Molson said, we just wanted to be in the mix. So maybe he's going to come before the first game of the series and says, we just want to be in the mix here in the playoffs and see where it takes us.
Well, the other angle is that the last time these two teams met in the postseason was 2010. The Capitals were the President's Trophy winners that year, and Montreal upset them that season. So maybe history can repeat itself. Maybe.
Well, I'm not going to rule them out. I did that once. Not doing it again, Jay.
Fool me once. Fool me once. What did George W. Bush say? You fool me, you can't fool me again. Okay, so Montreal against the Caps. Can't wait for that. Battle of Ontario for the first time since 2004.
Yeah, and what I was going to say, you can finish. You got the Devils versus the Hurricanes,
Yeah.
Panthers versus the Lightning.
Looking forward to it.
I thought you were getting tongue-tied there. I was trying to save you a little bit. But tomorrow, Thursday night.
Yes.
Thursday night, we're going to do a preview.
A playoff
Jay
preview.
on SC.
I can't wait.
I
Craig's
think
going
you
to be here.
deserve a spotlight.
We're going to do it, and I know you're going to love it, folks. That'll be Thursday night on this show, or Friday morning, depending on when you tune in.